It's Gay
and Carol
from Gay and the Lesbian, and we're here with a review of Mount Franklin Campground. Watch to the end because we've got 5 tips on the Mount Franklin Campground. So how can you tell Mount Franklin Campground?
when you're driving along, and you can be quite a distance from it, you'll see like a ring of pine trees, and it's the only spot that has pine trees. And why are they in a ring?
Because it's a volcano. Well, an extinct volcano. But it doesn't look like a bottle of water.
Oh.
Nothing to do with a bottle of water.
Nope.
So first things first, as you're driving up to it, you'll see some signs, but the signs, the intersection can be on you before you know it, so just be aware of that.
It is narrow, but there's plenty of room to pass, so I think you'd probably just have to you take it easy, definitely, and if you got 2 caravans going one either way, some spots would be a bit tight. I wouldn't fancy it.
So it's suitable for 2-wheel drive?
Definitely.
Or, yeah, and caravans, and big caravans.
Yep, campers, camper trailers,
everything,
tents,
yeah,
caravans,
all those sorts of things.
Motorhomes,
yes.
Rooftop tents.
So once you get up there,
swags,
the entrance, what you'll find almost automatically is there'll be a sign saying that this is a campground, but then you've got like an oval looking thing, and it's got bollards around it.
Yeah, sort of in the middle. Yeah. It's a big, and you can drive all the way around that bollarded grass section.
Yes.
There's no camping in there though.
There's little, as you
cutouts.
Drive around, yeah, there's little cutouts where you can camp in that centre bit, but for the most part you can't camp in that centre bit. It's all bollarded off, and you can't get your caravans or camper trailers or vehicles in there. Yeah. So there is a couple of spots on the, you'd say on the more the far side where you can, it's very, very level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very level.
The video doesn't show either there is more probably angle to some of the sites than what the video even shows. It's still alright, don't get me wrong, but there's some spots that are steeper than what comes through in the video.
Yeah, as you first enter in, it's got the toilets on your left hand side, so if you're staying at the other end, they can be quite a distance away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you just got to be aware that you might have to walk a little bit to get there. So it is quite scenic, as we said. So you've got the centre part with the bollards and the grassed area. You've got the pine trees up above you, and then on the lower part you've also got a few deciduous trees. So I imagine during the autumn time it would look very pretty with the leaves changing colour and then obviously making a mess by falling on the ground. And so the facilities wise, it's got the drop toilets as we've mentioned, and we've also got water, non-drinkable water. It is tank water next to the toilets. That's why I mentioned that it's not drinkable. I think there's a sign on there that says it's not drinkable. And then it's also got steel fire pits. It does have a sign at the start that says that you should only have fires in the steel fire pits. And then it is dog friendly as well, so you will get a lot of animals up there. They do have picnic tables, but
there's only a handful, but they are upgrading the facilities there, so they're putting in a day visitor area with a big shelter and also day visitor parking, because you get day visitors there to do what, Gay?
Walk around the rim. So you can walk, there is a 45-minute approximately walk around the rim where you can start at one end and walk around to the other, or you can walk back again. It's quite a nice walk, it's relatively, I'd say it's a easy medium grade.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, if you're walking back down the pines, the pine needles can create a bit of a...
It's a bit rough and ready coming down. There's a few roots
slippery
around, and whereas the way up it's asphalt and gravel.
Yeah. Well, one point it starts off with a gravel road, and the other point you're going through all the pines, and the needles I think are more slippery under your feet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I think so.
Alright, let's get on to our five tips.
Tippity-doo. So there's men and women's drop-loos, which is unusual to see in any campsite.
Yes.
So hopefully they continue that. Not that I suppose overall on the grand scale of things, but they've got 4 toilets, we think, so hopefully they continue that.
Yeah, so with them upgrading the toilet block, we're not sure if they'll keep that or not, but currently they do have male and female toilets. Yeah.
That was our first tip. Tip number 2, Gay?
Tip number 2 is there's not a great deal of sites that are level. Because it is in a volcano crater, The centre part is fairly level, but then as you get to the outsides, it does go up on a slope. So it's difficult if you're in a camper trailer or in a tent even, and maybe even some spots with a caravan. You can get in there, but just be aware that you'll need to check your levels really, really well. It can be really tricky. The other part about that is that where there is flat bits, quite often they can flood. So when it does rain, the rains it does sort of fall down, obviously comes down the hill, and you might be in a bit of a wet area, so just be aware of that. But then on the other side of that, when it's really, really windy, it's a fairly well protected area.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Tip number 3.
Tip number 3. Okay, tip number 3 is bring your own firewood in. There's not much around. You'll be able to get some pine cones. There's loads, or not loads, there's a few of them around. You just got to go out a bit further to find them. But there's not a lot of firewood.
It's been scavenged.
Yeah, well and truly. So I definitely would recommend, if you want to have a fire, take your wood in with you.
Yes.
Support local business and buy firewood if you want, or take it from wherever.
Yeah, but there's very limited firewood around there. Do you want to do tip number 4? Do it at one together. Tip number 4 is on camping on the north side.
Yeah, definitely. So if you camp on the north side, you'll get the sun.
More sunny sun.
Yes, so especially if you're packing up of a morning and you want to make sure everything's nice and dry, north side's the way to go. If you're on the south side, and depending what time of year you camp, it could be quite damp or dank, and it could take a while to dry things out. And during the day, it's nicer when you've got, especially in your winter sun, you'll get some cracker days up there.
Now, obviously, when it's busy, you can't always select where you're going to be, but for the other times, you should be able to fit in some of these things.
And a side tip on that, long weekends, Easter, public holidays, because it's two-wheel drive and where it's located close to Melbourne, it gets busy.
Yeah, so we were there over Labor Day weekend and it was very busy.
But worth it.
Yeah.
And the final tip, number 5.
Number 5 from me is at the end of October, so correlating a little bit with Halloween, but the last weekend in October, they have the Mount Franklin annual pagan gathering. So if you're thinking about going on that weekend, you might be in for a bit of a surprise. You might want to join in there. It's been going for a few years now. Obviously, when the pandemic and when we can, it's been going. It's not been going, but other times it will be going. Yeah.
Not my thing.
So if you want to go to a little bit of a pagan festival, maybe turn up to Mount Franklin.
Something different.
Yeah. On a side note with the camping, we do see a lot of, I suppose this might be a little bonus tip, we do see a lot of people walking with their packs and a lot of touring bike riders turn up there. We've seen quite a few bike riders where they're touring, and they don't need obviously much space to be able to camp at. So they've got small little tents and that, so they can normally squeeze in somewhere. But yeah, we've seen quite a few. It's in an area where I think they ride to, camp overnight, and then ride to another.
It's close enough to get to from somewhere close as such, like main towns or whatever.
Yeah.
Awesome. Make sure you make a comment. If you've got any questions about it, hit us up down below and we'll answer them. Don't forget to share the video. We'd like
Give
that.
it a big thumbs up.
Get your dukes out and thumb it up.
Yep. And if you've got any places that you'd like us to review, let us know. We do have a list from a couple of people that have suggested some stuff, so we are getting around to them.
Awesome. Thanks for watching.
See you in the next one.
Ciao.